Baby, be in love with your fantasies. I can be a star, make us shine so bright. Welcome to my dungeon, this is ecstasy. Let me play the
What's good, YouTube? It's your girl, Asia.
And it's your boy, BJ. And we back like we never left. We appreciate y'all for tuning in as we continue on our journey. We're going to be checking out Ben Shapiro. And he actually puts a congresswoman in her place when she brings up race. Now, we saw Ben get a little flustered when he was talking to Malcolm, like a couple of videos ago. Actually, a little while back, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Now we're going to be checking out. This is Miss Plaskett. She's a congresswoman. I'm not sure what state she's from, but I think she's trying to try him in this particular video in regards to race. And it just says she instantly regrets it. Let's check this one out.
Okay. Yeah, let's jump into it. Oh.
Mr. Shapiro, you talked about white privilege. And just this week, I had a conversation with Rachel Lazar, who's done some work, a Jewish American woman who's done some work on this area, as well as having extensive conversations with Dr. Greg Parks of Wake Forest University, who's also talked quite a bit about critical race theory. And it's my understanding that white privilege is not telling individuals that they cannot speak, but it is a term for societal privilege that individuals have as a benefit of their white skin. And I don't think that, and I think universities would be remiss to then say that because you're white, you're not allowed to say anything that's critical of white people. I didn't know that white privilege actually went into that sphere. My understanding is it's just, and the issue is that white privilege makes people uncomfortable to talk about the societal privilege that they have.
Well, to me, what I say on campuses all the time is if you want to cite instances of racism that we can all find and fight together, that's something that I am more than willing to stand next to you and fight, because that's obviously stuff that we should fight together. But when you just say that there is a white privilege out there in the ether and that by dint of birth your skin color generates for you an advantage, what you're really saying to people is that your view is less valuable because you have not experienced what I've experienced. And that is an identity argument, that's a character argument, that's not a rational political argument that can actually be taken.
When I kind of noticed, like, when he started kind of speeding his speech up a little bit, he starts to want to hit these points and kind of like, fire back at somebody, kind of to a degree almost. It's like you start hearing him kind of go up a little bit as far as his tone and everything. But she started speaking about like race theory, like critical race theory, and I think anybody that's like trying to like call somebody racist or anything like that, they need to really look into it and do like research and like read up, in regards to like the history on critical race theory before you can even bring up like a conversation about like race and things of that nature. Like you really need to do like your research and just know what you're talking about before you kind of come at somebody. Because it might end up like this, possibly. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's the insinuation for me. You know what I mean? It's almost like she's insinuating. But she makes it sound like, from my understanding, she almost makes it sound like that was one of the things that he kind of implied in regards to or in reference to the critical race theory. The critical race theory, but he's the white privilege is something that's kind of like a subsidiary of of that in general. So it's almost like, to me, she sounds like she's insinuating that he's almost like boasting that, you know what I mean? And he's like, no, that doesn't have anything to do with that. That's a identity type of thing. That's a personal problem. Like I don't have anything to do with that. You know what I mean?
That particular part.
Yeah, because he's saying, like, if you want to, fight racism and stand up and fight against a situation that is displaying that, then yeah, I'll stand up and fight with you. But other than that, I'm not going to defend that, because that's a problem that you have with white people.
Like a personal.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a character argument, that's not a rational political argument that can actually be taken on in any way. It's more of a cudgel and a club than it is an attempt to open a discussion.
Well, I think it's a demonstrable evidence that through society's demographics that being white has societal privileges that being black does not. But
We can
am
talk
very
about how that
interested-
manifests, because that's
I'm
more
also
interesting
interested in what you just said now, was that you would stand next to anyone who has this. So, Mr. Shapiro, my question to you is, for Ms. Dunston, the tying the noose around the campus and writing messages that target African-American young students, would you consider that hate speech, and then would you stand next to her and fight for her?
As I say, I
against
would.
that?
This is the first I'm hearing about it, honestly. But
Really?
Yeah. But from hearing about it, maybe because it's local. I mean, I'm from LA. But in any case, I'm more than happy to stand alongside her and fight whatever group was responsible for this. Not only more than happy. I mean, you're talking about the alt-right. Again, I was the #1 target of anti-Semitic harassment from the alt-right last year.
Thank
So
you.
I'm more than
Wow.
happy
Wow.
to do all that. And I think there's one more distinction that has to be made. When we talk about cases like Taylor's, they're horrific, and the administration is siding with Taylor. The administration is doing the right thing by Taylor, or trying to do the right thing by Taylor, as they should be. And I think that we need to make a distinction between cases where the administration is actively participating in the suppression of speech and cases in which the administration is trying to do the right thing in order to punish people for application of crime.
It just seemed like towards the end, it's like she kind of backpedaled in regards to what she was saying. It was like she wasn't sure what to say next after he kind of responded to her.
Yeah, because it was
and
the
kinda
answer
caught
that
her.
he gave. It was almost like you can't tell me that I'm a racist or that's what I support, when I'm telling you that I'll sit up here and I'll fight with people
And I'll
that
stand next to somebody.
Yeah, stand next to and fight with people who are in that situation, in an actual racist situation. But I will not, put myself out there or stick myself out there for people who believe that white Americans have white privilege because you have a problem with that. Like that's up here for you. You know what I mean? That because everybody doesn't think that. Everybody doesn't have that same belief. It's just something I feel like that the cultural type of societal
She needs to do some
situations.
She needs to do some deeper critical thinking or something.
Yeah, I mean, like when you kind of go out and it's almost like she was kind of gearing towards that direction, and he inadvertently just kind of, no, not this lane.
Yeah, redirected her.
Okay?
Yeah.
Not this lane. So
Redirect
she didn't
her.
have anything else to say because maybe she wasn't expecting for him to answer the question like that.
Yeah.
Like maybe it was like almost like I'm going to set you up type of question for the next question. So she probably had a follow-up question to that question or to the answer to that was going to keep going down
Yeah,
that
she's
path.
gonna follow it up. Yeah, and even that, she could have came in there with like some juxtaposed like views in regards to him, maybe based on something that he said. Because even through that small clip in that conversation, you could kind of tell, like you said, she was kind of already aiming towards something. She already had that in her mind when she started talking to him. You know what I mean?
I mean, and maybe she just wanted the answer to the question. I mean, just to say for what it is. I mean,
She wanted a yes or no.
If I'm being a devil's advocate here, okay, just to say, maybe she just wanted a legit answer to the question. Maybe that wasn't the route that she was trying to go. I don't know, but that's what it sounded like to me. Especially if you make a reference to like specific questions like that. You know what I mean? It's almost like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't,
Trying to
regardless
deem
of how
somebody
you
racist
answer. Yeah,
just
regardless of how you answer that question.
Just based on that question, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe she didn't have a comeback after that because what he said was like one of them like shut down, shut all. You know what I mean? You can't tell me because I'm not.
You can't tell me about myself, especially after he sat there and explained exactly what his stance is. So after that, you just gotta dead it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. At least I think.
I feel like you do.
I mean,
after that, man,
think.
you just gotta dead the situation. After that,
Yeah.
after he eloquently like explained his position in regards to that, yeah. Just let that man be. Let Ben Shapiro make that.
These questions are so rhetorical to him. He probably has it like a whole script in his head at this point now, because there's so many. Obviously he's in a political spectrum where what he talks about and what he thinks and believes is put on a platform, and everybody's there to make opinions to it. So it's just like he has this in his head. He knows how to answer those types of questions. Like especially if you're not that type of person, then I just feel like you won't try hard to do extra to do more than what you are supposed to if that's not the type of person that you are, if that's not the character. I feel like if he would have got really upset about the question and probably just, you know what I mean, it would have been a a major argument right there. You know what I'm saying? Just because he would have been mad, like she called him out in a sense, but that's not what he did.
And I feel like Ben Shapiro at this point, he's been through the gauntlet, as a lot of people kind of have to go through that gauntlet of just that pressurized situation, being asked being asked like pressurized questions, and having to really answer those questions, in an eloquent way, because you only got one chance to answer a question, especially when, like I said, truthfully too. So
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been through. I just feel like Ben Shapiro, he's been through the gauntlet. You can like see it when he responds, when he starts feeling the way like somebody's coming at him, and how he responds back, kind of like at a snap of a finger.
Yeah.
I feel like he's already kind of been through that gauntlet of just the political mess and just that political rhetoric going back and forth.
Yeah. Critical race theory. Here we are back at that again.
Yeah, you definitely.
There's so many different ways you can go with that.
You definitely want to have, you definitely want to be like very diverse and very informed in regards to that before you have any type of conversation with anybody about it, because it goes very, very deep.
Yeah, agree. So, hey, if y'all enjoyed this video, be sure you give us a big thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe. Smash the notification bell, join the family, y'all. And if ain't nobody else told you, I love you. And we're going to see y'all in the next video, y'all.
Absolutely.
Bye.